name?
My name is Samone Balenciaga, aka Taylor Samone Balenciaga. Yeah.
And how long have you been in the ballroom scene?
7 years.
And how did you first find out about ballroom culture?
I have to pride that on my house father and my personal father, Mario Balenciaga. His partner is my best friend. So when I moved back to Chicago, I was really looking for, I guess, an extracurricular activity that gave me that creativity outside of my profession at the time, which was modeling. So I did like college runway and college modeling team. So I guess ballroom was another extension of that because it allowed me to bring the creativity that I was lacking in my profession at the time. So he introduced me to it and I fell in love with it. So.
And what was the first ball you ever attended?
It was 2013, the Posse Ball 2013. I'll never forget that. It was in like some gym room up, I don't remember where it was. I think it was actually on the south or east side or something, but it was in a gym. And it was my first ball, and I just remember from the moment I walked in just falling in love with it.
And what made you fall in love with it?
Well, first, I just never knew it was a thing. You know, I just never knew what it was given. And it was so funny because Mario, he was like, I'm just going to invite you, just come and just tell me what you think. It's not like he kind of gave me a heads up. He really wanted me to have like a raw reaction to it. And literally I walked in and I just saw people being creative. You know what I'm saying? I just saw the creativity in it and the competition. I'm an Aries, so I'm super competitive. So I'm just like, oh, she's killing. I remember Tiffany Khan. She walked that ball, and I was like, oh my God, she killed that shit. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just like, oh, she can do it. I know I can do it. You know. So after that, for me, it was like, okay, yeah, I got to be a part of this.
Right. And from there, did ballroom ever interfere with your modeling? Maybe like.
No, never. I feel like I had already solidified that lane of my life. So with that being said, it was like when I was hired to do this, that's what I did. And when I was free to do my ballroom, that's what I did. And just,
so it was like modeling was work and ballroom was play.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Mm-hmm. What, like growing up, like when you were younger, were you ever like close to LGBT people or?
No, honestly, no. I wasn't really exposed to it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just wasn't exposed to it as a kid, so I really didn't know. But, you know, my parents really kind of instilled in me, you know, getting to know people for who people were, and treating people as they treat you. And so with that being said, I never, you know, looked at anybody differently or felt any type of way toward anybody else because, you know, in my personal opinion, what somebody does in their personal life and what their genitalia is none of my business. Like, I'm just worried about me and mine, so.
So you've been walking for 7 years now. Do you feel like you are like next up, or do you feel like you deserve a legendary status, or?
I definitely feel like I've worked hard for it. I've definitely felt like I have not only just worked hard, I've created moments in my career. I've dedicated my time, my energy, my free time, my money, you know, traveling and just really dedicating my energy to being the best in my category. So do I feel like it's coming? I feel like I definitely deserve it, but it'll happen when it happens. And when it happens, I definitely will be grateful for it.
Do you think that there's a lack of competition in your category?
No. And I laugh because it's like, do I think it's a lack of competition? No. But do I think it's a lack of creativity that people can bring to competition? Yes.
What type of more creativity would you like to see brought towards runway?
So I just don't feel like runway is just strictly a runway category. My vision of runway was always, I guess I was kind of like, I think I was always different the way I thought about it because I actually came from being a model into ballroom. So for me, being a model and walking runway is not only giving a walk and giving that persona of that, you know, that bad bitch, it's just also serving a look. Like taking what a category is calling for and turn it into something that's like, oh wow, like she took it and she went all the way. Like that's where I get my life. So it's like, if that's what I put into what I bring, when I see it in other people, that makes me excited when I walk against them, because I'm like, oh, she looks good, you know. 9 times out of 10, it's like, I mean, if she can walk good, she can walk good, but if she can't, she still has a look, you know what I'm saying? So that can carry a person. I feel like a lot of time in ballroom, you could have the look, you could have the walk, but when you have 2 people that have a look and a walk, sometimes it just be that look that'll carry that one person over you. So I feel like when you bring that creative aspect to it and when you really take a category and elevate it, that's when I live.
That's great. So runway, like you being a professional model, runway is something that kind of came easy for you?
Are we talking to just ballroom and just
Ballroom?
Ballroom? No, because I feel like ballroom allowed me to be creative and express more so than actual runway in the real world, because it's really structured in the real world. People hire you because they want a certain walk. They want you to do a certain thing, whereas ballroom, you know, you want to give people their life. You know, you want to show up in the look, you want to show up with the walk, but that walk had to have something extra about it that's going to be like, okay, she carrying, and I like it. So I want to say, yeah, no, I don't feel like, I feel like it made me actually give a little bit more.
Yeah, so you feel like it kind of like it helps you express yourself more freely.
Oh, definitely. I feel like ballroom in general did that for me. Just not with the category. I just think about me being who I was at the time of getting into ballroom. I was really, I had just got back from college. I was just really trying to figure things out. And then I get thrown into an industry where it's really dog eat dog, and you know, you really have to be on your shit, and being on your shit means being the weight, having the clear skin, having, you know, everything has to be perfect, you know what I'm saying? So to go from that to go to somewhere where it's like, okay, you can be yourself, but make sure when you hit that runway, that look, that walk, that attitude is on point. That's all I needed, because it wasn't putting that extra stress on myself to be something I wasn't. It was really calling for me to be my 100% self on the runway and giving all I got on the runway. And I think that is what kind of really drove me.
Right. Are there any other categories that you maybe consider walking, or maybe want to?
Definitely. You ain't seen the last of Samone. I promise you. I mean, once I hit my goals, I feel like I won't switch over until I actually hit the goals I've set for myself in my category. But once I hit those goals, you guys will definitely see me playing a little bit more, and I actually can't wait. Like it's a key with my house, because I've been bringing up certain categories my whole ballroom career. No, I'm just gonna let y'all be surprised.
So like I noticed, like being at balls, there's considerably less amount of cisgender women that compete. Have you ever felt like the minority in ballroom?
I would never put myself in a minority situation. I don't want to say I'm a minority, but I will say that there isn't cisgender competition like there is other categories. You know, I get excited when there's another cisgender woman walking, because I'm like, okay, bitch, let's go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I played around with everybody else, but now it's time to play with you. See you at the back. So I really live for when I see it. And honestly, like, you know, when I do have those moments, it's really one of those moments where it's like I'm proving myself in my own category, not in female figure runway, not in runway, but in, you know, women's runway. So when I can actually compete in women's runway, those are the moments that I have the most fun with, because it's like now I'm going against someone who can bring it like me, who can walk like me, whose category and whose has the same story exactly as me. So now we can really like get on the runway and show what we got, as far as like me competing against a big boy or competing against you know, anybody else, right? This is my own personal competition, and honestly those are the ones that I take personally.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
What do you want it to be different? Do you want more women in the scene, or cis women, or do you?
I feel like with growing within this community, it's really more so, I just want whoever feels like they can put their foot on that floor and dominate to dominate. I enjoy people who come on that floor and really are doing what they want to do because they love what they're doing and because they think they're the best. Those are my competition. So if it's a cisgender woman, if it's a femme queen, if it's a butch queen, if it's a top whoever, I mean, but of course I would love more competition and more, you know, women to get in tune, but at the same time, it's not something that I'm just like holding up a sign like, come, you know what I'm saying? Like, come as you please, but make sure when you come in correct. That's it. Yeah.
What is the biggest, because we already went over like how big of a help ballroom was for you creatively wise. What is the biggest downside to ballroom that you've come across thus far?
Politics. It is politics, and I can tell you, anyone who knows me personally knows it's the politics that gets me every time, because that's the one thing in ballroom. Because it's the one thing in ballroom that it took me a minute to really understand. And it took me a minute to understand because I really wasn't necessarily a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? I joined the culture, I got to know it. But then it was like certain things I had to learn and just kind of sit back and not take so personally. Because with anybody who's doing something they love to do and putting that amount of energy that I put into what I do, you're gonna take anything personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like you've came with the best look and you gave the best performance, and then you get up there and it's that split vote and it goes the other way, it's kind of like, okay, bitch, just because she's in your house. But you saw it. But you saw it though. So it's like, as I've grown older, I've learned to accept those L's as just what they are. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really feel like, you know, when you get into ballroom, you're hungry. You want to win. You want to continue that hype that you've built around your name and continue to show to people like, yeah, I belong here and this is why. But that moment you get humbled is that moment you really have to step back and be like, okay, look, bitch, like, it was great while you had it, but it's okay to let somebody else get it, even if they didn't deserve it, because when you come back the next time and that bitch hits the floor, it's gonna be you and her. And I swear to God to you, it'd be that when she hits the floor, I'm like, oh, it's you again? Let's go. And you literally give your all. And if you don't give your all, you should be on that floor.
True. Yeah, that's true. I always tell people, if you don't have a winner's mentality, don't even step on the runway.
Period.
Because you're not gonna win.
Exactly.
So, as far as like speaking of like competition and dominating on the floor, who do you think has been some of your direct competition? It don't just have to be in your specific category, but just runway in general. Who has been some of the toughest competition, the biggest moments?
So I really don't see it like that. I really feel like I never look at someone as my biggest competition, because I feel like that gives them an edge over me. I feel like with anything you do, if it's a sport, if it's whatever you do, if you go into a situation feeling that person is better than you, bigger than you, greater than you, better than you, you've already allowed that person into your head. You've already made them the person to defeat instead of making yourself the person to defeat. So I can never go into anything thinking like that. Now, has there been certain battles that people have given me a run for my money? Yes. I'll never forget my first $2,000 category. Gigi gave a ball and it was calling for the Wizard of Oz, and it was legend after legend after, you know, people, I have seen their videos. And, you know, one thing that I always held in my head is like, if it's a person walking that I know can walk down, that I feel that's gonna get to me, I'm not watching it. you'll see me in a lot of clips and I'll turn around or I'll look at the crowd or I'll look at, I won't watch that battle because that allows that person to get in my head and intimidate me. And I can't be on that floor feeling intimidated by nobody. So I won't say that I feel like there are people that, make me pause. No, I make them pause.
So you are your biggest competition?
I'm my biggest competition because I set my own standard. I set their standard I live up to.
Okay. So, I've noticed something like growing up through the years, sometimes I feel like women are disrespected, not just a ballroom issue, just like a gay issue, like an LGBT issue. Mm-hmm. Have you ever felt like disrespected by people in the community?
Yeah. But I'm a girl from Chicago, from the southeast, west side of Chicago, and I don't take disrespect easily. So if you disrespect me, you're gonna know I feel disrespected. I've never and I think that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? I grew up a big tomboy. Like I was a super tomboy growing up, and it was just a lack of confidence, And, modeling was the thing for me that got me into being feminine and got me into being comfortable in my own body because I was a stick. I was 0-0, no boobs, no butt, you know what I'm saying? Super tall, so I wasn't exactly the girl anyone wanted. But when I got into a lane where I saw women who looked like me, who, embodied who I was, but they were confident and they were getting paid to do what they did and people glorified them, that let me know that there was a lane for me where I would be appreciated. And once I found that confidence in myself. But at the same time, I never forgot where I came from. I never forgot to speak up for myself and let people know, okay, look, I understand you feel your type of way, and I'm a woman, but I'm still not going to let you disrespect me. I'm not going to fight no man, but I got a whole house full of grown-ass men who know that I don't play that, who will stand up for me, and that's just what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, being a woman in ballroom calls for you to really not look at being not even, I don't want to say it because I don't want to say that because I was going to say not thinking of yourself as a woman because that kind of devalues being a woman. Is really don't think of yourself as something that sticks out or something that's a minority. You have to feel a part of something you're a part of, and if I feel like I belong there, I'd be damned if anybody tell me I don't, especially when I worked for sitting at this table. So yeah, I mean, like, I've been disrespected, but at the same time, like, I've spoken up for myself when I've been disrespected. I let people know how I feel when I feel like they're saying something wrong. And if I have anything, I invite anybody, an open conversation to the table to tell me like, hey, this is how I feel. And we can have an open dialogue about it. Like, I'm all about talking to people. So it's like, don't be afraid to come on. I'm like, I know I look shady and the glasses be on and I be having that little cup in my hand, but I'm so approachable.
I definitely see you at bars. Sometimes you have, you keep it together. So I've seen you definitely have a lot of fun at bars.
Yes, you'll see me cut up in the corner somewhere, but I try to maintain the elegance because I'm still representing my house. So, but best believe I'm, what they call it, Banshee.
I want to say that you just like to have fun.
No, I call it Banshee cunt. I feel like I'm definitely Banshee cunt. I get that.
Okay. So, and you said, okay, going through your childhood, you felt insecure at first. Then when you found modeling, it made you gain more confidence. Mm-hmm. Then when you got to the ballroom, it made you gain even more confidence. Mm-hmm. So continuously doing modeling jobs, what made you want to shift into becoming a professional makeup artist?
I think it was really just a turn in my life personally. I know people glorify what it is to be a model, but being a model isn't as glorious as people think. Especially like from my point of view, I was always a certain size growing up. I always had a fast metabolism, so I never gained weight. But the moment I started gaining weight and couldn't fit sample sizes, it was hard for me going from a person who never had to diet in her life to have a strict diet, and watch her weight and count calories. And I always swore against counting calories because I love food. Like in my life, I love cooking. Like I'm a cook. So it's like I'd be damned if you tell me I gotta switch from butter to coconut oil. But I mean, for me, it was as I got older, I really knew that it comes that time as a model where you have to be real with yourself. Like, are you gonna be the next model, the next face of this brand? Are you gonna be the international model that travels and eats toilet paper to stay skinny? You really have to make that decision. And for me, I knew that wasn't who I was gonna be. So I had to focus more on long-term goals. So what did I want to do as a career? But you know, I went through that whole spiel that everybody goes through. They think you want the job that's 9 to 5, no weekends, that you have your benefits and make a certain salary. And I found that job. I literally found my dream job and was in that job for about 6 months and came home crying to my boyfriend saying how unhappy I was because I wasn't doing anything that fed me, like me. I did everything I need to do to make that money to pay my bills, to have my weekends off, to enjoy my weekends with my friends, that gave me the medical benefits to go see whoever doctor I wanted to, but I wasn't doing anything that fed what I wanted to do. So I had been doing makeup since I was in college. Like, I had a good girlfriend in college who actually did professional makeup, so I was her apprentice. And from there, I was YouTube taught, then invested in my career, and I was just like, you know what? I think I could be good at this. And then on top of that, I was a painter for a long time. I really got into art. I went to art school at Marwin downtown. So I was like, you know what, I'm good at this. I need to do it professionally. So I just started really investing in myself and in classes. And because I knew so many people in the industry already, it was kind of easier for me to transition to being in front of the screen to being behind the screen because of my connections. And yeah, with that, I'm just, you know, continuing to grow. Like, I haven't completely jumped out on the ledge where I've completely quit my 9 to 5 and made that commitment to being a 9 to 5 makeup artist, but it's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? I've invested in my career so far, and when it gets there, it'll get there. And maybe you'll see me beating faces in the bathroom at the ball or something. Who knows? My goals for makeup, honestly, is to get into the UN and to get into TV. I love special effects makeup. That's my favorite type of makeup. You know, it's all great to do prom makeup and birthday makeup, and I'm going out to the club makeup. But for me, I think longevity. And when it comes to makeup, what is a field that this will take you far for years? And that's film, that's TV. And with that, it's the added services, so the special effects makeup, the 3D makeup, all of that. So that is my goal, to get in the union and get behind film, so one day when they call up the cast that made this big production, you'll see me at the Grammys taking an award for best makeup artist. Not the Grammys, that's music, but you know, Oscars, Emmys, whatever, for best makeup artist. So that's my end goal.
Okay. And what are your goals for, like, ballroom?
Ballroom, I think my goal with ballroom, I have multiple goals. I think with ballroom, if you want longevity in ballroom, you really have to set multiple goals for yourself. So I have my goals right now in my category, but then I have, like I said, other categories that I can't wait to, you know, participate in and walk and meet those goals. But in the end, I want to see myself being in a state where I'm just helping. You know what I'm saying? I feel like any house that has been a house of longevity, a house that, you know, holds their name. So it's like I'm in the house of Balenciaga. They hold a name of itself. I want to be a part of that legacy that grooms the younger Balenciagas to come in and know what it's like to be in the house of Balenciaga. Give them the same experience that I got when I came in, and educate them not only in what it is to be in ballroom, but just in life. Because I feel like in a lot of houses that they lack that. They groom their kids on what it's like to be successful in ballroom, but they miss what it's like to be successful in life. Because let's be honest, if you're not doing what you need to do in real life, there's no way you can do what you need to do to be successful in ballroom. So I just feel like that's something that's big that needs to be taught more. So I was taught that, so I just want to take that knowledge I know and give that to the younger generation. It's all about giving back at the end of the day. To commit so much of your life to a house or to a category, you have to reach back. You have a responsibility to reach back, is what I should say. And I'm gonna take on that responsibility one day when I'm ready to sit down. No time soon. I'm not sitting down no time soon, but I mean, reaching back doesn't have to start when you sit down. You know what I'm saying? It can start now. Look, I'm 7 years in, so I know a lot. I can tell them a lot, so I'll do my best.
I definitely can tell you have a lot of wisdom in general, but football too in particular. So I definitely see that for you.
Oh,
One last question.
okay.
Describe yourself in 5 words, please.
5 words. That bitch. Number 1. Let's not forget. But other than that, I would say that I'm smart. I'm confident. I am patient. I'm forgiving. And I say forgiving, and I feel like people take that for granted, because to be forgiving is to have the knowledge that, hey, I've been there, I've made those mistakes, and no one's perfect. So I say forgiving because that's a great quality to have in general, because in order to forgive somebody, you have to, that allows you to, when you forgive someone, it allows you that space internally to move on and continue to grow within yourself. So yeah, those are my 5.
Thank you for coming. Is there anything you'd like to tell the people to watch out for?
Watch out after Corona, bitch. I know I ain't been walking. Corona's real. I have pre-existing conditions, but once Corona's over, I'll see y'all bitches at the back. Okay? That's it. That's all. Samone Balenciaga out. Drop